This man has just been executed for a horrific crime that involved the brutal stabbing murders of his wife and her young son during a senseless domestic altercation, capping off a life marred by escalating violence from his youth. His name was Cedric Allen Ricks, and he was put to death by lethal injection at the Huntsville Unit in Texas after more than a decade on death row. In this video, we'll dive into his final words, his last meal request, and the brutal acts that sealed his fate in the execution chamber, breaking down every chilling crime he committed, step by step, from his early age to the desperate aftermath. Cedric Allen Ricks was born on September 8, 1974. He grew up in a challenging family environment with his siblings and parents. The family noticed early signs of problems, describing him as difficult to manage from a young age. At age 9, Ricks set fire to a tree in the front yard of their house. He threw stones into their house through the window, indicating impulsive and destructive behavior. Her mother recounted efforts to discipline him, including whippings and counseling, saying, "We tried everything we could to help him. We tried whipping him, we went to counselors, we did what we could." These anecdotes suggest a home environment where physical punishment was common, and professional help was sought, but these interventions did not prevent a pattern of escalating issues. Ricks's life took a tragic and violent turn during his teenage and early adult years, marking the beginning of a pattern of criminal behavior that spanned decades, fueled by untreated anger and impulse control problems. In his high school years, around 1988 and early 1990s, Ricks committed his first known offenses, a series of assaults against his girlfriend at the time, Tina Brown, in Chicago. What transpired in these early crimes was a pattern of physical violence. Ricks would lash out during arguments, leading to confrontations that escalated to arrests on at least a couple of occasions. These incidents were driven by his aggressive behavior and trouble controlling anger. Police caught him through victim reports and direct interventions, such as when a school resource officer who witnessed Ricks forcibly removing Tina from the building and arrested him after handcuffing him. Ricks was known as a bully in high school, with stories of him intimidating peers or getting into altercations. These brushes with the law resulted in arrests but no long-term incarceration at the time, marking his entry into the system and setting a pattern of domestic violence. As a young offender, Ricks endured the consequences of his actions without significant rehabilitation, compounding his existing issues with anger and relationships. As an adult, Ricks moved to Texas, where he worked as a medical assistant, a job he held until his arrest at age 38. Personal descriptions from ex-partners paint him as charming initially but violently possessive. His ex-wife, Tashana Singleton, described their relationship, which started around 1998, as abusive. In April 1998, what started as verbal arguments quickly turned violent. He punched Singleton in the jaw because she wanted to end the relationship. He would occasionally choke and punch her on different occasions. He broke a tooth and kicked her. Ricks sometimes threw her down, threatened to kill her, and repeatedly stabbed the ground around her head and face with a knife, and issued death threats if she dared leave him. Singleton obtained multiple protective orders, but Ricks constantly violated them, even threatening her father, during exchanges. He violated a protective order in 2004, during a custody exchange at Illinois Police Station. He choked and beat her until she lost consciousness in front of the police station before the officers intervened after a passerby who saw Ricks beating his ex-wife yelled for help. He admitted to doing that and was charged, but no long-term change. Singleton later said in court he would apologize after, saying he loved me, but it never stopped. She also testified that after she gave birth to Rick's son, he told her in the hospital, "I hope it dies," referring to their child, which makes him manipulative in nature. Things eventually ended between Ricks and Tashana, but he didn't waste much time to get another woman and started treating her just the same way he treated Tashana. Ricks started dating Tamara Partridge in 2004. They had a misunderstanding where Ricks slapped her, broke her phone, held her against a wall, and choked her on different occasions before their breakup in 2008. The same year he met Jennifer Clark, who reported that on different occasions they had arguments which results to a fight, and in one of those, she recounted a specific incident where an argument escalated to the point where Ricks explicitly threatened to kill her and prevented her from calling police during arguments, and in 2009 they parted ways. In late 2011, Ricks met Roxann through their shared workplace, as they both worked in the medical field at the time. Their relationship spiraled fast and they started dating. Roxann took in and the both of them cohabitated with Roxann and her 2 sons from a previous marriage. In November 2012, at age 38, Ricks committed another assault, choking his girlfriend, 30 years old, Roxann Sanchez, unconscious and beating her head on the bathroom floor in their Bedford apartment, also injuring one of her boys. This led to Sanchez filing a protective order, barring Ricks from seeing their 8-month-old son, Isaiah, though it expired in January 2013. He was charged with assault, a pending case that factored into his final crime. While still grappling with his unresolved anger issues, brain predisposition to violence, and the pending assault case, Cedric Allen Ricks, then 38 years old, struck again with deadly force, this time in a domestic dispute that spiraled into unimaginable brutality. On May 1, 2013, in Bedford, Tarrant County, Texas, Ricks, high on rage from the ongoing relationship strains and his pending assault charge, was at their home in the Colonial Village Apartments with Roxann Sanchez, their 9-month-old son Isaiah, and her 2 sons from a previous marriage, 8-year-old Anthony Figueroa and 12-year-old Marcus Figueroa. What transpired next was a nightmare. Sanchez and the boys had just returned from Walmart to their 3rd-floor apartment in Bedford's Colonial Village Apartments, shortly after 7 p.m. Sanchez carried Isaiah and some groceries upstairs, leaving more in the car. The boys went to their bedroom to play while Sanchez cooked dinner. Between 7:10 and 7:20 p.m., a neighbor heard Ricks yelling expletives and threats like, "Don't have me come down here and waste my motherfucking time on this bullshit." Ricks and Sanchez began arguing in the apartment, with the yelling turning into screaming. The boys ran to the living room where Ricks and Sanchez were hitting each other. Ricks pushed Sanchez to the floor and continued punching her with his fists. Anthony and Marcus, who were little, tried to intervene to break up the fight, but Ricks pushed Marcus down and kept assaulting Sanchez. Ricks then grabbed a kitchen knife from a drawer and stabbed Sanchez multiple times while she tried to protect herself, suffering an instantly fatal stab wound to her neck that transected her upper cervical spinal column at the brainstem. A potentially fatal stab wound to her neck that transected her right carotid artery, multiple other stab wounds, defensive wounds, blunt force injuries, and evidence of manual strangulation. Her cause of death was stab wounds of the neck, blunt force injuries of the head, and asphyxia. Marcus ran to his bedroom closet and called 911, but dropped the phone when Ricks yanked the door open. Marcus grabbed the knife in self-defense. He had a cut on his hand, but Ricks never stopped. He chased him back to the living room. There Anthony was standing next to the couch with blood on his face, asking Marcus to get help and begging Ricks to stop. But he didn't hear the little children's plea. Ricks pushed Marcus to the ground, held his head down, and stabbed him multiple times in the back of his neck. When Ricks saw that Marcus was unresponsive, he pushed Anthony down next to Marcus and started stabbing him, until he made a gargling noise notifying he was dead. While Ricks was still stabbing Anthony, Marcus tried to get up, to go grab the phone. Ricks noticed, got on top of him, and began stabbing him again until Marcus played dead by imitating Anthony's gargling noise. Anthony's fatal wounds penetrated his skull and injured veins/arteries. He had contusions. Marcus was stabbed 25 times but survived. After stabbing them all, Ricks washed the knife, showered, packed clothes, placed Isaiah in his crib, and fled in Sanchez's car. Although Marcus was bleeding badly, he remained still because he was afraid Ricks would stab him again if he got up. Once confident that Ricks was gone, Marcus got up, looked out the window, saw his mother's car was gone, and called 911 for help. The police arrived at 8:42 p.m. Officer Clayton Baxley heard Isaiah crying. Marcus let them in. Officers found 2 bodies and unharmed Isaiah. Marcus was airlifted to a nearby hospital while Isaiah was checked into a care home. Ricks called his cousin, Tamara Butts, who lived with her parents in Mansfield, Texas, telling her he did something bad and asking to speak to her father, Joseph Sanders. He told Sanders he messed up and killed Sanchez and the boys, asking them to get Isaiah from the Bedford apartment. When Butts urged Ricks to turn himself in, he stated he would die before he goes to jail. Butts then called 911, and police responded to the apartment. Ricks fled in Sanchez's car but was traced via family tips and bolo alerts for the vehicle and suspects to Oklahoma that night. Troopers located him using a cell phone ping and 2 units pulled him over. It was unclear whether Ricks was armed, but he didn't put up a fight and troopers had him in custody in a matter of minutes. Police recovered the vehicle, bloody items, and forensic matches directly linking him to the homicide. Ricks confessed to police, saying, "I'm sorry about everything. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm stressed, nobody loves me. I'm not going to jail." But he was detained in Garvin County, Oklahoma that night. In a video where he was being transferred back to Texas, his eyes were swollen and red. He told his father that he was beaten in jail post-arrest by inmates, possibly jailhouse justice. Cedric Allen Ricks' trial took place in 2014 in the 371st District Court in Tarrant County, Texas. The central pillar of the prosecution's case was the overwhelming physical evidence of multiple fatal stab wounds on Sanchez and Anthony which killed them on the spot. Marcus' survival testimony and 25 stab wounds.
He stabbed her.
Where were you when that happened?
I was on the floor.
Pretty close to your mom?
Yes.
He pushed you down.
Yes.
Then what happened?
He stabbed me.
Where did he stab you?
My neck.
Front of your neck or the back of your
The
neck?
back.
And how did he do that?
He held my head down.
He held your head down?
Yes.
So he held your head down with one hand
Yeah.
and stabbed you with his other hand?
Yes.
Do you know about how many times he stabbed you?
No.
Was it once or was it a bunch of times?
A bunch of times.
Why did he leave you alone?
Because I made a noise.
What noise did you make?
The same noise Anthony made.
What kind of noise was it?
A gargling noise.
Why did you make that noise?
Because when Anthony made it, he stopped.
Did you make that same noise hoping that he would quit stabbing you?
Yes.
The knife analysis, neighbor report, and Ricks' multiple confessions to family and police proving capital murder. The jury also heard about Ricks' prior criminal history, high school assaults on Tina Brown leading to arrests, repeated assaults on ex-wife Tashana Singleton, assaults on Tamara Partridge, and that of Jennifer Clark. The November 2012 assault on Sanchez established his escalating pattern of violence and dangerousness. Prosecutors portrayed him as a psychopath with a history of violence against women, emphasizing the heinous, atrocious, and cruel nature of the killings. On the defense side, his attorneys fought back, presenting mitigating factors and pleading for life over death. Ricks testified in his own defense, expressing remorse but unable to fully explain his actions, stating he was sorry about everything. Ricks was convicted of capital murder on May 8, 2014, after less than an hour of deliberation. The jury recommended the death penalty after 7 hours, and the judge imposed death for the murders of Roxann Sanchez and Anthony Figueroa. Ricks was 39 at the time of sentencing. Cedric Allen Ricks languished on death row for over 12 years, where he reportedly showed remorse in the letters to his sons from death row, statements, and confessions, undergoing a profound spiritual transformation. Ricks wrote of some of his regrets but offered little explanation for the violence he committed, according to a book written by Ricks' childhood next-door neighbor L.A. Holtz. The book includes letters between Ricks and Holtz, along with letters from Ricks to his sons. Titled These Dry Bones, Redemption from Death Row. In the book, he apologized and said, "Sometimes I wake up kicking and screaming for what I have done to you." He wrote to his son saying, "I can't say sorry enough for what I've done. My prayer is that you can forgive me. My prayer is that you both will carry on the legacy of who I have become in Christ, and not who I used to be." His lawyers launched numerous appeals to reverse the verdict, challenging the effectiveness of his trial counsel for failing to adequately present evidence of his brain biology predisposing him to violence, and racial discrimination in jury selection about the Batson claim, where prosecutors used peremptory strikes against 2 black prospective jurors under circumstances suggesting racial bias, with notes revealing racially coded reasons, and a white juror not struck despite similar characteristics. They also argued shackling violations and sought commutation to life without parole. But every one of his appeals was shot down, including motions to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, federal habeas denials by the Fifth Circuit on November 4, 2024, petitions to the U.S. Supreme Court were denied, and a final one by the U.S. Supreme Court in early 2026, which rejected it without comment, though an application for stay highlighted due process violations tied to the Batson claim. Finally, on October 20, 2025, a Tarrant County judge scheduled Ricks's execution for March 11, 2026, at 6 p.m. Central Time at the Huntsville Unit in Texas, making it the state's second execution of the year, following a record number in previous years. The execution took place at the Huntsville Unit of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in Huntsville, Texas. Ricks awoke in his death watch cell at the Pulaski Unit, before being transported to the Huntsville Unit around 8 a.m. He did not request or meet with a personal spiritual advisor that morning. Ricks, age 51, declined a special last meal, opting instead for the standard prison fare served to all inmates that day. No family members or supporters visited him that day. Reports suggest he had limited contact with loved ones in recent years. That evening, Ricks was strip-searched, dressed in standard execution attire, and shackled. Medical staff inserted IV lines into both arms. He was then moved to the execution chamber and strapped to the gurney. During this time, witnesses for the state, including 7 relatives of the victims, such as Marcus Figueroa, the 12-year-old survivor who was now 25 and bore visible scars on his neck from the 25 stab wounds, entered the viewing room. No witnesses were present on Rick's behalf. At 6 p.m., the execution officially began. The curtain to the viewing room opened, revealing Ricks already strapped to the gurney with IV lines inserted. He appeared calm and composed. The warden asked if he had any last words. Ricks, looking toward the victim's family window, spoke directly to them. "I'm sorry for taking Roxann and Anthony away from y'all. I hope one day you can find forgiveness in your heart. I hope you'll go in peace." His statement was delivered in a steady, remorseful tone, without emotion or tears. He did not mention his own family or make any protests of innocence. At 6:02 p.m., the lethal injection commenced. Witnesses observed Ricks taking deep, quick breaths initially, followed by snoring sounds as the drug took effect. He gurgled 3 times, a common reaction indicating the onset of unconsciousness and respiratory failure. There were no visible signs of pain, convulsions, or prolonged suffering. His body remained still after the initial breaths. Around 6:14 p.m., the warden performed a consciousness check by shaking Ricks and calling his name. There was no response. A medic entered the chamber to verify vital signs. This process took about 8 minutes, during which Ricks showed no movement or breathing. By 6:55 p.m., Ricks was officially pronounced dead by the on-site physician. The execution was described as routine and without complication by execution officials. That evening, the victim family members spoke briefly to the media. Marcus Figueroa, the survivor, described the execution as bittersweet closure, saying, "It's been 13 years of pain, but seeing it end helps." Roxann Sanchez's relatives echoed relief but highlighted ongoing trauma. No statements from Rick's family were reported that day. This wraps up the chilling tale of Cedric Allen Ricks, executed for murdering Roxann Sanchez and Anthony Figueroa. What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know in the comments. If you're a lover of creepy true crime stories, true crime documentaries, horror crime, unsolved mysteries, and the rest, you can do well to check out our twin channel Mysterious Dark Files for more videos like that.